Welcome back, everyone, on another episode of the Unquestioned Podcast with Debaere and Willem Himpe. Luigi, how are you? Again, I want to ask the question, where are you? But I know where you are, but it looks like a lit up Christmas tree in the back. Well, what is...
This is Ghent by night. We can see two of the three towers. Not bad for a balcony.
Not bad at all, with the nice Ghent skyline. Well, I would actually say, maybe you guys will see it now on the screen. When I was in LA, there was we did the observatory, so that's like close to the Hollywood sign, where you had an amazing skyline of Los Angeles.
Hollywood.
Yes, and it was even nicer by night, like always, than by day. And that actually, I didn't share that in the last episode. And for the listeners, you all know that we are a fan of our one and only Mr. Musk. And there was a quite cool concept. It's the Tesla diner. I was just cruising around with the Waymo, and then suddenly I look on my left and I see the Tesla diner, and I wanted to stop, but I couldn't stop the car because Waymo was...
Yeah, of course the Waymo won't let you stop.
It wouldn't let me stop. And then the day after, I went to the diner, and it was... Sadly, I didn't see the robot. I saw the museum kind of where the robot, the first version, was presented, but it was quite cool to see a little bit of the vision and also the smart move. If everything is going to go more electric, we all have to charge our cars, and it's not like gasoline where it's in a minute it's done. You need to stay there for 20 to 30 minutes to get a full charge. So why not profit as well of the let's say the experiences that you provide, if it's now food or other entertainment at the place. So it's definitely a must. I don't know, what did you see the videos that I shared? I'll show...
Yeah, I was so jealous. I can't believe I didn't tell you to go. I'm glad that you saw it. It's a good marketing move, I think. I don't think they're doing this to make money. Too big of a hassle to hire cooks. I mean, for low margin, but it's creates their ideal vision, the world that they want to see. It's a 24/7 restaurant. You can order your burger from your car screen so that it's ready by the time that you arrive, and when you leave, your car will be fully charged. So they basically, Apple style, vertically integrates and take care of the full experience from start to finish. You're well fed on your way to your destination, all in this futuristic world that they want to create.
Yeah, one thing of two things actually that stood out was, one, the people that were there, because one person immediately was another entrepreneur. He just randomly started talking to me, so that's maybe that's usually normal as well in America.
California doing the heavy lifting.
Yes, but for some reason he as well had an events company, and then I
Wow.
just did my pitch of my own startup, and immediately there was a match, and the next day we hopped on a call. And now they're gonna be one of the, like, let's say, first West Coast customers. I have a couple in the East Coast.
Amazing. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, so it can go very quickly. So that really stood out.
The power of California.
Yes. And with that being said, I think for the listeners, we have an amazing topic. And it's now today it's the 1st of December. So we're heading into the end of the year, where we all have to reflect, looking back, and as well make plans for the future. But we're going to start with this episode, the winners and the losers of 2025. And we want to keep it very generic, kind of any category. So just what we feel like is a real winner and who might be a real loser. So it can be a concept, it can be a person. But Louis, do you maybe want to start off? Who is your controversial or not controversial winner of 2025?
My winner for 2025 is the original reason to go to California, not only for the sunshine. In America, you would want to go west until you can't go any further, because there's gold in the ground, and gold is not dead. We've seen that with price action in the last 2 years. It's almost doubled in in euros, in euro value. So a little bit over 2 years for the price of gold to double. And for such a large asset with such a big market cap, that's quite extraordinary. The only disclaimer we have to give is that it started increasing in price. It started appreciating and being popular again because the last few years it wasn't so hot. It wasn't so popular.
What maybe to intervene, and why do you think the last 2 years it has been growing steadily in value? Is it because, let's say, people are more scared of the economy? Because that's usually the reason when the probability of a
Yeah, let's
mainly is
have a look. From for the last like 15 years, it stayed flat. So it moved. The price moved horizontally. Didn't it was like the euro? It didn't gain any value. And why did it suddenly make this big move, this big jump up? Well, obviously there's geopolitical reasons. The U.S. has shaken things up, and there's less trust in the world, meaning less trust in the dollar, in a currency that somebody can take away and confiscate. In the case of Russia, they don't have access to some of their euros
less
or inflate.
versions of political powers and, let's say, even the financial system.
Yeah, we need a neutral as a country, like as an individual. Maybe you're happy keeping your money in your house in real estate, but as a country, where do you go? You need a neutral store of value. You need a neutral way to have a bit of a piggy bank, a bank account, and um, and you can turn to gold for that because nobody's gonna change the properties of gold. But another reason is that it just had to catch up.
Hmm.
It had to catch up. People thought maybe gold wasn't as wise an investment anymore because I don't know, maybe it's an outdated technology. That's not the case. Honestly, it was hard to believe to me that it would fade away like that, having existed for hundreds of years, sorry, thousands of years. So yeah, it's still shiny. It's still there for us. What about your winner for this year?
Yes, it's funny because I wanted to stay a little bit in the same realm, but the winner of 2025 that I found was Revolut.
Hmm.
It's funny to say because I actually this last year came across the Revolut many times because I traveled a lot for work, and some examples are in a couple of airports I saw like a Revolut vending machine where you quickly could tap on it and immediately get yourself a visa. I have had multiple friends recommending it, wanting me to sign up with their referral link so that they could.
What is it? What is it? What is Revolut?
So basically, Revolut is a mobile first all-in-one banking app, but
Mhm.
also have a physical card, and it gives you benefits when it comes to transactions. For example, when you make transaction that you have the best currency, it gives you a lot of new features that, for example, traditional banks don't do when it comes to getting insights in your spending, having certain flexibilities as well when it comes to travel. And what I mean, like flexibilities or benefits, is if you buy certain flights or other stuff with a Revolut card, then actually you are immediately are insured. So if your flight gets canceled, you would immediately, because you paid it with a Revolut card,
Mhm.
would get a full refund from that flight. So these things you don't really see with traditional banks, maybe with some other cars, but they're really trying to attract to the young generation of being a full digital intermediary, and really as well for the digital nomads, like people
Yeah.
traveling around and making it so easy. Because if you're a digital nomad and traveling around, it's not easy to, in each country that you visit and work, have as well a bank account. And let's
Yeah,
say,
and they even offer SIM cards now. Like they have a for the premium tier that they give you a SIM card that works in any country.
follow that like faster adoption and very fast product innovation that you wouldn't, or we don't see from the traditional banks.
Yeah, quite the opposite.
the opposite. So that made me really believe, and I want to share that I feel like that's the winner of 2025.
Cool. Well, the boomers are buying gold. The cool kids have their fancy app
And it's
for
amazing
their.
that it's from European ground. Sorry if I.
Yes. Well, UK,
Yeah, it's okay.
Europe, not EU. We'll take the win. We'll put that win under our belt. I mean, the London is kind of the fintech financial capital, or it was, of the world. So yeah, that's a win for our side of the Atlantic.
So, but from the winners, Louis, I would love
Uh-huh.
to. Who is your biggest loser of 2025?
Yes, my loser. This was a hard one. Is a category of businesses, and it's the middlemen.
Mhm.
It's the middlemen when it comes to dealerships of cars. So, as an example, myself, I bought my car not only completely online without even test driving it, but I bought it on my phone when I was at a concert. Like I had made up my mind. There was only a few models, so all I had to do was, pick things up. I did have to meet with the bank for insurance, but buying the whole thing, there was no middleman involved. And another word for this is disintermediation. There's no intermediate anymore. Just like there's no, if you want to, I think you can publish music on Spotify without going through a record label. Our podcast is also published directly. We don't have an editor or somebody that publishes our book or a bookstore for that matter. So we go to the storefront directly. And there's other areas where you can go direct and just like, selling things. And what's an example of that?
Well, an example would be I have a very good friend that works for Nike, and there as well, they're really each year see more and more the growth in sales from the direct to consumer. So people don't buy Nike shoes and clothes, or less and less from like the Foot Locker and other
Right.
physical retail stores. They immediately go to the source, which is the Nike app or the official stores. And another example that as well I had would be even, for example, an Uber, because in Uber you often have then taxi companies,
Oh, yeah.
organized taxis, where the taxi driver is just literally an employee. But here, it's a lot easier to immediately the person that's driving you and the person that's booking a ride. There's a direct transaction. Okay, you could say Uber is a middleman with but with kind of the fee, but as well, it's still the person is much more independent and has an owner of their time in comparison to not have the upside of everything and of that you don't have if you're just an employee. And also one last thing I want to add is like a lot of, let's say, brands have started the direct to consumer, so that you can immediately buy. My sister works at Nestle, and they as well has started with making it possible to immediately order all, because they have a big collection of brands, and
Yeah.
that the consumer immediately can order products from that supplier, so that you don't have to go through the intermediary of the Walmart, or for Americans, but here in Belgium would be the Albert and Heijn, the Deleuze or the Carrefour that we know. So that's quite a fun, I think.
Yeah, this layer in between that sits there for sometimes we think no reason, sometimes there's a good reason, but they do extract some value. They ask for a cut of the payment, and that still exists in the digital realm. There's the App Store, for example. Apple takes a cut of any app or subscription that is bought. So if you pay for ChatGPT through the App Store premium, then Apple is going to get a cut. And you might argue, do they deserve this much or this percentage? But it's still there in some form. And if you book something via Booking or Airbnb, there's still a middleman, but yeah, it's become this big platform instead of all these small, like vacation organizations or tour operators.
That's I would add to that is, it's always, why do you need a middleman in a transaction? It's for trust,
Hmm.
because the person understands from the demand what their requirements are and understands of the supply, and they make sure as a third party that trust from each side is correct and the transaction can happen. And what I kind of see happening is that this third party is less and less like a person, for example, a travel agency that helps you travel, but more as a technology provider that really is scalable and kind of offers the ease of a transaction, but it's still a company. We're not yet in the blockchain world where really I haven't done any transaction yet where you can rely on, for maybe some people that are less technical, a blockchain, which means is an order of transactions. And if a person had done a lot of transactions, they're monitored on the blockchain, and that's because they've been a reliable source. You could say that party is trustworthy, so I can do a transaction with that. We're not there yet, but we are in a kind of an economy where the physical human, that being the trusted party, is being step by step more and more removed, being replaced by big technology providers like a Booking, like an Airbnb and Uber, and so on.
Well, trust, and also something new is that they ask us to do a lot ourselves now.
Hmm.
So the bank, they all closed. You can't walk in anymore. There used to be a person there. Even at the grocery store, like the Albert Heijn, they ask you to scan your products yourself. So what is that about? Like I have to find my flight myself. All this, there's trust. There's also service. You used to just say, okay, give me a good flight to Morocco, and I want to be insured, and then this person would do that. But now you have to look for it yourself, meaning that you will look for the best and the easiest platform to do that. If they're not willing to, if the bank is crappy and boring and slow, you will find the best platform, and that's why um, there's usually one winner. Whether it's Airbnb or Booking, there's only a handful of winners if you have to do it yourself anyway because of technology.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, maybe it's time to share a little bit who I might think is the biggest loser of 2025.
A person? No.
Shit, it's me. Oh, yeah, now we go into a deep rabbit hole. I'll keep that with my therapist. But what I feel like the biggest, let's say, loser in 2025 is traditional marketing. Um,
Hmm.
and that might be a weird one, but as well, I speak out of personal experience because that's the best to make maybe a prediction or a statement. And that is what I've seen with a lot of companies, that they keep reducing the amount they spend on traditional marketing. So that means print, that means
Mm-hmm.
TV, that means these marketings where it's very difficult to track who sees their ad or whatever, and it's kind of a little bit of a guessing game, and
Mm-hmm.
it's more and more towards digital ads, but even extremely more towards influences, communities, because there is still trust to be found and where the attention is growing. And an example is, I have a couple of friends that work for a major player in the cosmetics world, is L'Oreal. And I actually heard 10 years ago that they were spending a small 10% or even less, like 5% of their
Mm-hmm.
media budget on influencers and content. And now we're 10 years later, over 50% of that budget is now dedicated to influencers and content marketing. So that is kind of an insane shift, and it's taking all of the money from traditional marketing, because there they feel like they're putting a lot of money in a bottomless pit that is not in value towards their customers or toward their brand. So that is kind of, I feel like it's sad to see, but they need to change something in traditional marketing to still stay relevant, because these social media channels, they are actually kind of the big winners.
Yeah, and it's also a form of going direct. Like, no need to go through an ad broker and a person you have to call to please put my TV spot on TV or put me on this billboard. No, you reach out to the creator and maybe they'll give a more, they'll give an honest review of your product, and you just talk to them directly.
Yeah, it's again more direct and less indirect. You go directly to the customer, and you could say the influencer or some community owners. They are the little bit the intermediary, but there's less, let's say, less power to the big traditional marketing players.
That's
Okay,
what technology does, democratize and disintermediate.
boom. I like that to end the statement. this was kind of the losers and winners that we found of 2025. The next episode, we'll talk a little bit more about the losers and the winners of 2026. So this will be a little bit of a prediction of Louis and myself. I don't know, Louis, do you have already, you want to tease something to the audience, or you want them to wait until the next episode?
You'll be shocked.
You'll be shocked.
But if you follow my advice, I'm not going to make advice.
Let's not get any legal issues, but hopefully you enjoyed the episode, and please, what will really help is put the notifications on, subscribe on Spotify. That will really help to get more listeners, people like you. If you like our episodes, and we as well, we want to get more sometimes speakers of like really interesting people that really question things, because this, of course, is the Unquestioned Podcast. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and see you again on another episode of the Unquestioned Podcast. See you soon. Bye-bye.